Hello DDL 2020, I'm Sarah Wren and PA Consulting is delighted to be able to support this year's virtual conference. Today I'm speaking about the impact of emerging European Commission sustainability policy on plastic inhaler development, which could drive how we develop new devices. The EU's approach to sustainability is embodied in the European Green Deal. So what this means is that by 2050, Europe aims to become the world's first climate neutral continent, a legally binding target embodied in the climate law. It has also put forward a further plan to cut emissions by at least 55% by 2030. So by mid-2021, the Commission will review and revise all the relevant laws to deliver the required emissions reductions by those timescales. And that includes zero net emission of greenhouse gases by 2050, boosting the efficient use of resources by moving to a clean circular economy, and investing in environmentally friendly technologies and supporting industry to innovate these. The circular economy model is used widely to drive sustainable development approaches. So, what does this mean in practical terms? The circular economy is a practical manifestation of how to think differently by rethinking material flows. It looks beyond the current take, make, waste extractive industrial model and is based on three principles: design out waste and pollution, keep products and materials in use, and regenerate natural systems. Currently, plastic inhalers take virgin fossil fuel plastic to make product, which is mostly sent to waste rather than being recovered, i.e. it's not a circular model. So we need to consider where the pharma device industry wants to sit in this new environment. Of course, sustainability principles are starting to be applied to drug delivery technologies. The most well-publicised are AstraZeneca's and Chiesi's move to lower global warming potential propellants. However, those current efforts are focused on MDIs rather than plastic dry powder inhalers. There has been more movement in other plastic delivery devices such as auto-injectors. Ypsomed has developed an auto-injector that uses alternative biopolymers and a novel packaging system that follows the principles of circular product design. And Novo Nordisk has developed technology to disassemble its pens into component parts. The plastic is then used to manufacture furniture and lamps. But there are only a few public examples of respiratory companies specifically addressing circularity of plastic inhalers, and these have had limited success. GSK, AZ and Teva have implemented inhaler return processes. However, the GSK and AZ scheme has been discontinued as it was not deemed viable on the scale that it had been implemented. A circular model for inhalers would meet the principles of the EU policy and reduce waste and greenhouse emissions. The current inhaler life cycle model is linear. The material is lost to the system and the wasted material is not considered to have any value. In the circular model, the principles are different. Material used for manufacture is from sustainable sources, i.e. it's not directly extracted from fossil fuels, which contribute to energy uses and CO2 production. And the waste materials of the product are considered to be a valuable commodity and are recycled back into the system. But of course, this is all easier said than done. And the pharmaceutical industry needs to overcome challenges in order to adopt a circular model. There are technical challenges. The quality and the consistency of the material supply is key. And also the properties of those materials must meet the safety and performance standards. Usability is another area where if we have design changes to accommodate sustainability, then we may compromise usability. And of course, on the regulatory side, we need approvals for all of these changes. And the sustainability requirements are not anything that is recognised in the MDR or the pharmaceutical regulations. We're also going to need new supply chains for new materials coming in and also for the recycling processes that need to be employed. And of course, there needs to be significant financial investment to make this happen. So the EU vision for the new plastics economy will drive investment in sustainability and reduce the challenges to sustainable product development. So to that end, we can consider that the sustainability and the pharma regs are convergent rather than divergent. The vision of the EU plastics economy is that sustainable products are the norm and that materials and recycling infrastructure will be developed to enable that. And the EU is committed to investing in the new infrastructure and technologies that are needed, and pharma companies are committed to their sustainability pledges. So as product developers, we should therefore assume that this is the picture of the future and consequently plan for success in the emerging sustainable environment. So pharma companies and device manufacturers are therefore facing some important questions. Our experience is that with innovative thinking, a range of solutions is possible. There are some easy wins with packaging innovation, but more complex solutions are viable. A separate analysis that we have done of the design options through the device life cycle has led to some interesting areas on which to focus. Creating commercial value from sustainable devices is a challenge now, but new infrastructure and convergence of regulations should make identifying increased value easier. It's not too far-fetched to see sustainability as a part of product approval in 10 years, which is, in fact, the time it takes to develop and approve a product. We can also imagine that consumer product pressure will also build. We should also think about adjacent technologies as an enabler of sustainability, such as digital. So, for example, a reusable device may be more sustainable, but could compromise usability. However, usability can be enhanced by a digital device solution. Adjacent technologies such as digital therefore become enablers of sustainable solutions and vice versa. So the development of sustainable products is inevitable. Pharma and device companies should act now to realise the value of the sustainable choices. Actions are needed though. Collaboration with regulators is required through cross-industry working groups to understand where sustainability principles conflict with pharma and device regulations, for example, usability and quality. Modernisation of the inhaler development model by adapting it to circular economy principles and give weight to sustainability requirements is important. And evaluation of a range of sustainable solutions that can be implemented throughout the device supply chain is required. We'll also need to explore collaborative cross-industry approaches to the development of high-quality recycled materials. And also we need to do a reassessment of emerging technologies as enablers of sustainability. So our conclusion is that our industry has the capability to meet the EU and societal goals for a circular economy, and that we can and should develop a new generation of effective and sustainable inhaled treatments, and that we should use adjacent novel technologies to achieve these goals. So that concludes our presentation. We thank you for listening and to DDL for inviting us to present, and we wish you an informative and exciting conference.